Hi, welcome to Swim Lessons with Deb. This is part 1, breathing and body position. Let me first start by giving a warning and a caution. My warning is that these videos are meant only to provide information and not be your sole source of instruction. Like, go get lessons. Learning to swim is best done under the supervision of a trained person, physically watching you and giving feedback. That's how you get better. You need somebody that knows what they're looking at and that can give you advice of how to get better. You should practice only in designated swim areas and under the watchful eye of a lifeguard. Seriously, be safe. And a caution, not as strong as a warning. Learning to swim is very difficult. We're not fish. We don't have gills. We can't breathe underwater. We need to breathe. So just remember that these movements that you're going to be making while swimming and learning to swim, they're not natural for humans to make unless they take time to learn. Please don't get frustrated and be patient with yourself. Just a hint, you can use off-duty lifeguards. Keyword off-duty. Those would be lifeguards that are on break, that are not actively in the chair watching you. You can use them as a resource when it's not busy. Just ask the lifeguard to watch you swim and give some feedback. Most older lifeguards have taught swimming in the past. So the key is these are lifeguards that are not in the chair or walking around with the tube actively watching you. That said, let's move on. Before I go into my actual lesson, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. Hi, I'm Deb, and I'm the Struggle Bus tutor. I've been a lifeguard and a swim instructor for over 10 years. I'm also a special education teacher. I have several years of experience with very challenging students. Once again, this is Swim Lessons with Deb. This series is meant to be a practical guide to learning to swim. In this video, and others that I plan to make, I hope to sum up much of what I've learned in an easy to understand way. So this part is about breathing and body position, which I feel is the core, the foundational skills that you need to learn how to swim. Once you get that, then you just add on a whole bunch of details and it should work for you. So now, let's get on with the lesson. Again, this is Swim Lessons with Deb, Part 1, Breathing and Body Position. Let's talk about breathing. Psst. Breathing is good. You need to breathe. Breathing is good. Breathing is necessary. We are not fish. We do not have gills. We can't just stay underwater forever and be fine. We need to come up for air and we need to breathe. So don't hold your breath. I see a lot of kids holding their breath while trying to do laps, and they're exhausted once they get to the other side of the pool. It's because they're holding their breath. You should be blowing air out in the water and breathing in when you come up for air. That's how you breathe. In swimming, we breathe out in the water and we come up for air by either picking our head up or turning to the side. Breathing should be in the mouth above the water and out of the mouth and the nose in the water. It's just blowing bubbles in the water. Every time your face is in the water, you should be blowing bubbles. You should not be holding your breath. Please do not hold your breath. Blow bubbles, because breathing is good. You should also be blowing bubbles out of your nose, too. While teaching, I've talked to many people, and I just start off by asking, have you ever gotten water up your nose? Super uncomfortable, cleans out your sinuses. I'm not a fan of it. A lot of people have said, yes, they have gotten water up their nose. So my annoyingly super simple solution is to just blow bubbles out the nose. Because think of it this way. If there's air coming out the nose, the water's not going to go in. Now, there's different kinds of people with the nose thing. Some people, like me, if the water can go up the nose, it will go up the nose. So I have to blow bubbles out of the nose or the water goes up the nose. Some people really don't have a problem with that, but they do every so often, like when they start doing flip turns in the water, which involves them doing a somersault. With a somersault, you're kind of upside down for a short period of time, in which case the water might go up your nose. On a side note, if the water does go up your nose and you want to make it a little bit better, what I do with the kids and what I do to myself is if you squeeze the nose and you move it back and forth, I don't know what it is about that, but it makes it feel a little bit better. So if you have a kid that's learning to swim and they get the water up their nose and they're struggling with life, just squeeze their nose and move it back and forth. It either distracts them or it makes them feel better. Either way, it's a little better. Now for how to blow bubbles out your nose, the easiest way to go about it is to literally breathe in your mouth, shut your mouth, then put your face in the water and let the air come out your nose. You got to keep the mouth shut so that the air only has one place to go, which is out your nose. And you can practice this with something that's called bobs. You can practice all these breathing things with bobs. Bobs is literally just going under the water. Like you're standing in the water and you bend your knees and go into a squat and go underwater. When you go underwater, you blow bubbles at your mouth and in your nose. You can practice the bubbles out the nose by doing this. Then, once you get all the air out, you literally just stand up, take a breath, and go back down, blowing some more bubbles. To practice this, you literally do it over and over again. Squat down, blow bubbles out your mouth and your nose, come up, take a deep breath, squat down, blow bubbles out of your mouth and your nose, breathe, bubbles, breathe, bubbles. This should be a slow process, like you should stay underwater for a little while. Let all the air out, come up and breathe, go down, let all the air out. So that when you come up, all you gotta do is breathe in. This is actually really good practice for breathing while swimming, because when you turn and breathe or pick your head up while swimming, literally all you're doing is just taking a breath. It is the same exact thing with the bobs. You breathe in and then you let the air out. Breathe in, let the air out. So if you want to practice your breathing, do lots and lots of bobs. Notice how in this picture, the bubbles are coming out of her nose. See? It's important. Blow the bubbles out the nose too. Okay, now let's move on to body position. Body position just basically refers to floating, being able to stay on top of the water and stretch your body out. Now I want to make it really clear that anyone can float in the water. It's just easier for some people than for others. And I'm going to show you how that works and how to do it. So please, if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments and I'll answer them the best that I can, even if it means making another video with a whole bunch of examples. To learn about body position, let's start with floating on the front, since it's basically the basis of a lot of the swim strokes. The very first thing you need to do is put your face in the water and look at the bottom. This is the start of your good body position. That head has got to be in the water, not your whole head, just your face. And that's going to help to level your body out on the surface of the water. The next part of it is to lean your torso forward. This is your torso. You gotta put some lean into it. like shift your weight that way. Doing that is going to help to bring your legs up, because if it's just your face in the water, your body's going to be in this kind of diagonal position. That's not helpful. When you lean your torso forward and have your face in the water, your legs are going to go from there and start coming up. That's good. You also want to stretch your body out. Arms reach and stretch that way. Legs reach and stretch this way. That, coupled with your face in the water, not your whole head, just your face, and the torso leaning forward, is going to help to make your body more on the surface of the water. That's a good thing. So again, reach that way, and it should help. On a side note, I highly recommend goggles and a swim cap. If you're not used to putting your face in the water, goggles will help you see where you're going, which is a good thing. And the swim cap has a number of functions. If you got a lot of hair, it's going to keep the hair under control and keep it from getting all in your face. If it's kind of cold, it's going to keep the heat in, which is going to keep you a little bit warmer. And it kind of makes you a little bit more aerodynamic, I guess. Below, I have a couple of links of some good, cost-efficient goggles and swim caps that you can get on Amazon. If you click on those links and buy the links that you clicked on, it's going to help me out with a little bit of money, and I really appreciate it. Now for swimming on your back. This is hard to learn, and it feels really uncomfortable at first, but it's really necessary. It's going to feel really uncomfortable and weird. A lot of kids, when you first start working on floating on the back, they freak out a little bit. They really don't like the water in the ears. That messes with them a lot. Floating on your back also feels really weird. For some, it might feel like you're falling, and how in the world is the water going to hold me? But just trust me, if you stretch your body out, you should be able to float. You gotta relax. You gotta stretch that body out. Seriously, relax. When everything gets all stiff in here and you're flexing your abs, that's gonna bring your bum down a little bit, your face up a little bit, and you're gonna start sinking, which is not helpful. Gotta be relaxed and stretched out. Seriously, just relax. Take a deep breath and stretch your body out, head back, belly up, and relax. Your ears have got to be in the water. The first half of it with the head is head back, ears in the water. The other part is don't arch your back. The arching in the back can have a negative effect in that if you push your chest way up, your head will go down if you twitch a little bit too much, and your legs will go down. So head down underwater, not comfortable. And then your hips and your legs will be going more down that way instead of the straight across that we want. So don't arch your back. Don't even mess with this area of your body. Head back, ears in the water, and get your hips and your bum up. This part in here, push it up. Relax this, push your hips and your bum up, because often this is the part that sinks. Your body kind of goes in this V situation, and then you're sinking, and then you try to compensate for it and you sink some more. Try to push the face up and out of the water, and then there's more of a V and more sinking. So really, head back, ears in the water, leave this alone, belly up, like belly button, but really hips and bum up. Hips up. Get them up. Now, here's a way to think of it that might be helpful. I found that it's helped some of the kids that I've taught to swim. Try literally just laying down on your back on a flat hard surface, keyword hard surface, so that you can feel how your body works on a flat surface. What I'm trying to get with is where your head is at. Lying on the floor, your head is going to be back. Your face isn't going to be that much up and forward. It's going to be back and relaxed with your spine in line. That's what you want when you're floating on your back. Do not push your face up. Even if it feels like the water's coming around and you're going to sink, the more you push your face up, the more the rest of you sinks. And you get that V situation again with your butt sinking. Get your head down, ears in the water, relax. Your head should feel exactly like it feels when you lie on your back on a hard surface. Ears in the water. Just do it. Don't arch your back. If you lay down on your back on a hard surface, it feels really weird to try to arch your back, to try to push your chest up. It's super uncomfortable. That relaxed feeling you feel lying on your back is what you want to float in the water. That head should be back. This girl could probably put her head back a little bit, chest relaxed, and hips and bum up a little bit. This is a pretty good example, but it kind of looks as though she's pushing her face forward a little bit because this part's sinking a little, but she is floating. But this will work for some people, but it's not gonna work for all people. That's why I'm so obsessive about head back, don't mess with your chest, and get your hips and your bum up. Because for a vast majority of people, that will work. Again, hips and bum up. Leave that alone. Head back. I repeat it all the time to the children. I'm going to repeat it to you also. Stretch out your body. Legs that way. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Arms that way. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Or if your arms are down by your sides, pretend there's like a string there and kind of pull it that way. And that way you're going to feel that stretch, just like laying down on the floor. Now let's talk about sinker problems. This is what happens when you're doing all the right things, your head is back, the ears are in the water, you're not arching your back, you're pushing your hips and your bum up. The position should work, but for whatever reason, your bottom half just goes, it just sinks. Despite your best efforts, just goes down. You try, but no. This is what we call a sinker. Now, there is hope for you. You can float too. So let me walk you through it. Some people float really easily. That's partially because of body composition. Well, mostly because of body composition and other various body things. So they just do the things and they float and it's super easy. Be jealous. There are some that even with an otherwise good body position, like I said, they just sink. We call them sinkers. But they're not hopeless. They can float too. Now here's the secret. You just need to be moving or pushing down with your hands. I'll explain. Don't worry. So like I said, they just need to be moving or pushing down with their hands. Think about it. If your hips, and your legs, no matter what you do, are just gonna sink, if you put those arms by your sides and you just push down, like little pushes. So pretend her arms are here and she's just pushing down on both sides just a little bit. Like down, 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 down. That force is going to help to keep her middle up and her legs, even if her body wants to sink. Now this picture over here, this is something called sculling, which is again using the arms to help you move. Depending on how your hands are positioned, they're going back and forth, and you can either move that way or you can move that way. It's kind of cool. You should try it. But you got to get the floating first. But once you're moving, you can do this and keep going, and you should be staying on the surface of the water like her. Now, this is the moving part. Assuming we're going that way, your body starts out like this dude and this dude. For these guys, I tell him to put his head back a little bit more and try to focus on pushing his hips and butt up. Same with them. Head back a little bit more, not chin all the way up, just head back and chin up a little bit and push your hips and your bum up. If that doesn't work and we still have this, I'd say get to kicking and start moving. Think about it. As you're moving, your body's going to shift from like this to a little more in line to pretty much in line. Think about tying a string to the head. If you're moving that way, the body's going to level out. String here, pull, 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 pull. As I get moving, it starts leveling out. Pull some more, it's going to be more leveled out. So if you're a sinker, get moving or push down with your hands. Now for just one more thing about sinkers and body position. When you hear the words put your head back, you're going to start getting that chin way back and the head way back. So the waterline's going to be more on the forehead and on your eyes than anything else. When you do that, you end up arching your back. And as I said before, do not arch back. Just don't do it. It doesn't help. It doesn't work. It messes up later swim strokes. For this guy, head back, chin down just a little bit. Leave it alone. Hips and bum up. This guy, his chin is down too much. So I'd say put your head back a little bit, which is going to help with this part. Ears in the water, not too far, just a little bit level, like on the floor, and then hips and bum up. If that doesn't work, the arm thing or the moving thing. I hope that makes sense. I think I got all the pieces there. Now, something else that can affect body position is kicking. This is the part that drives me nuts when I'm teaching swim lessons. A bad kick really messes up your body position and it's going to make you sink. So let me tell you what a good kick looks like and feels like. Now let's first talk about what kicking should be. Now, this motion that's going to happen works both on your front and on your back. However, it's more noticeable on your back when it goes wrong, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But essentially, a good kick has floppy, loose ankles. It shouldn't be like really flexed and stretched out that way, and it shouldn't be really flexed this way either. They should be relaxed and be able to move back and forth when you shake it. I'll give you an example coming up. Your kicks should be little fast kicks. Your kicks shouldn't be huge. Like this person, their kicks are all in this tiny little itty bitty area. Their legs aren't coming way up there or way down there. There's no scissoring happening. It's in a small area. And they should be fast. When you kick, you're going to use the big muscles in your thighs and in your bum. So if you've been kicking a while, you should not feel pain in your knees. That means that you're bending your leg at the knee and the big meaty part isn't doing enough work. Ow. Just no. When you're kicking a while, you should feel it in your thighs. And for lack of a better way to describe it, if you're doing it right, using your whole leg, hip to foot, hip to foot, hip to foot, your butt should wiggle a little bit. Use those big muscles. That's what they're there for. And that's what's going to make you go. The power starts here and it goes all the way out that way, which propels you that way. Hope that makes sense. Now think of it like this. Pretend that you stepped in a puddle with your bare feet, or, well, the ocean, and you want to get the water off your foot. If you stand on one foot and then stick that leg out to the side and shake it to get the water off the foot, what you're doing is basically a good kick. Assuming your leg is mostly straight, the power's coming from your thigh, your ankles are loose and relaxed, and you're not bending your knee too much. So let's take it apart into little pieces. You should be using your whole leg, hip all the way down to your toes, because the idea is to shake the water off of your feet. So you need some power to do that. Your legs should not be bending that much, which is what you want in an actual kick. You want a reasonably straight leg with a little bit of bend, but not too much. And your ankles should be loose and floppy. So when you do this enough, you should feel it up in your thighs. Now, keeping this metaphor and this motion in mind, let's look back at the other swimming diagrams to break this apart. So as we think about the stepping in a puddle / the ocean metaphor and kicking the water off of our feet, let's look how it would look if you're horizontal. You're kicking the water out of your feet, these ankles are going to be floppy because you can't get the water out if they're stiff. The water's just not going to fly out like you want it to. So that's step one, floppy ankles. In order to get good power, you shouldn't have a lot of knee bend. You want little fast kicks with those floppy ankles. So if you move your one leg, kicking all the water off fast enough, your leg's not going to bend that much. And also, as you're kicking the water off of your feet, the motion's going to go from your hip all the way down to your toes. And you're going to be using those big muscles that are powerful. That's what you want to use. Your whole leg, floppy ankles, little fast kicks, and using the big muscles. Now let's... Now that we know what a good cook... Now, let's look at some kicking problems to try to figure out how to fix them. Now that we know what a good kick looks like, let's look at some kicking problems so that we can pick them apart and make them look better. Before I go on to kicking problems, I said most of these things already, but these are some different things that affect your body position. You want to be stretched out on the water so you can float. You need the small kicks, like I said before. Pretty straight legs. Those big giant kicks aren't going to work because it's going to mess up your body position in here. You got to lean the torso forward, get the head down, facing the water with those nice floppy ankles, little fast kicks, and using the big meaty part of your legs to make you go. Now, before talking about kicking problems again, since kicking problems are more obvious when you're on your back, let's talk about how to literally get onto your back so you can see how your kick is messed up. In order to get onto your back so that you can start kicking on your back, there's a couple ways you can do it. First, probably one of the easier ways, feels a little more comfortable, a little more solid, is to start from the wall. Hands up on the wall, curled up in a ball, toes up on the wall, and then you're gonna push yourself that way. So you do that by putting your head back so your ears are in the water. Think about the past pictures. Relax, and you're gonna do two things at once. You're gonna let go, and at the same time, you're gonna gently, keyword gently, push your hips and your bum up as you're going that way. And that will give you a kind of a glide onto your back. It's a good launching point. Now, if you got the head back, you let go. If you push your hips and your bum up too fast, your face is going to go underwater. So, again, keyword gentle, because this is new to you, it's scary. Just be nice to yourself. Now, if you want to start swimming on your back and you're like standing in the middle of the pool, hopefully the shallow end, this is how you go about it. You gotta put your head back again, ears in the water. You're gonna arch your back. Don't worry, you're gonna fix that. Head back, push your chest up, and then you do like a little hop to get your bottom half up. That's going to bring this part. You relax the chest and push the hips and your bum up once you're kind of sort of floating. And that should bring you up so that you can move. And you just kind of start kicking and you move that way. Once again, let me review from the wall. Curl up in a ball, hold the wall, feet up on the wall, head back, ears in the water, relax, let go, push off gently, and at the same time, push your hips and your bum up gently. When you start running out of movement, that's when you start a little bit of a kick. Middle of the pool, head back, relax, push your chest up a little bit, do a little bit of a hop to push your legs and your bottom half up. And then once you're kind of up, start kicking so you go that way. So now that you know how to get onto your back, let's talk about all these kicking problems that become way more obvious when you're on your back. Now, the first of the kicking problems, I call this kicking the sky. Yeah, this is a picture of treading water on its side. It represents what I'm trying to say really well, so just go with it. This is kicking the sky. Really big kicks, big splashes. The legs are usually a little bit more bent, but doing this and keeping your face up is going to create that V that I mentioned before, and it's going to make the butt sink. You don't want the butt to sink. In this case, it's caused by the big splashes, because you can't have the bum up and splash really big. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't really happen. No, just no. So as I mentioned before, in order to fix that horrendous kick that hurts my soul, start with the head back, ears in the water, don't push the chest up, relax, hips and bum up, stretch the legs out, and little fast kicks. Now, do you see how that kind of good kicking would work? Do you also see how this kicking the sky situation just does not work? This is the water level, by the way. Again, just go with it. It works. Now, here's something else that I see all the time. Again, yes, another picture of treading water. Just go with it. It represents what I'm trying to do really well. Just go with it. This I call a frog kick / a crab kick. And this is it on its back. The next one will be it on its front. The legs are bent and then they go out straight, but they don't really come together. They kind of bend and go out straight repeatedly and to the side. Once again, because of how the legs are, the butt sinks, we have a more exaggerated V. You kind of have to arch your back to get your face up, and then you push your face up, and then the butt sinks some more, and then the kick is big to try to get on top of the water somehow, and then we got more of a V situation, and then the sinking happens. Not helpful. This is hard to fix because a lot of times they just come into the class with this kind of kick, and that's the kick you get all the time, and it takes forever to straighten that leg out. Like, you gotta literally hold the leg out, shake it a little bit so that they can feel the floppy ankle and how it should move, and you gotta do that like 15 times. It takes a while, but it does get better with time. Also in here, you see that there's some floating, which will happen. People can literally swim like this, but it's not efficient and it doesn't work that well. Once again, let me tell you how to fix it. You gotta get that head back like it's on the floor, not chin up and back, but head back. So in this case, chin down slightly. Don't mess with the chest area, hips and bum up, and fix that kick. Another way you can work on fixing that kick is if you have someone standing next to you and they have their arms going this way and this way, so that you literally only have this tiny space to kick in, and when you kick too much, you hit their arms. that has helped in the past. So if you have some really good friend or swim teacher that doesn't mind getting kicked, not by the feet, by like the middle of the legs, then that might help your kick. My whole point is, do you see how this does not work? The bending, the arching, just no. Do you see how it doesn't work with the waterline being there? And do you see how if everything is stretched out, it will work? There you go. You're learning. Fantastic. Next. Same picture, but flipped over and onto its front. This you see much more common. They got that bent frog crab kick thing, and they're moving their legs back and forth this way and back and forth that way, but not together. Big kicks, just no. It's hard to stay afloat like this, but it is possible because most of the torso is kind of in line with the water, but it's hard to move on beyond a certain point, and it's really hard to like make it across the pool with this kind of kick and stroke. They're gonna poop out at about halfway across the pool. So again, straighten the legs out, little fast kicks, have someone put their arms above and below the legs so that you kick them, hopefully nicely, and that should help. It takes time. So remember, swimming is hard and it takes time. Don't get frustrated. I already mentioned a lot of the fix for each one of the kicking problems that I just showed, but here's a quick review. Same things I've been saying all along. Stretch that body out on the water. If it's bent and crooked, stretch the legs out. Like, tell the kids or the adults or whoever to literally stretch this way and stretch that way. Straighten out those legs. It's hard, but it will help you go farther and longer. Trust me. And it'll save the knees. That's good. Little fast kicks, not ginormous ones, little fast ones, and floppy ankles. Please with the floppy ankles, not stiff. That's gonna hurt your feet. Just loose, relaxed, floppy ankles. Here's another thing that can really help with learning to kick better because it kind of forces your legs into a good kick. That's fins, practicing with fins. I have also added a link for some cost-efficient fins on Amazon. Just find the fins that work for you. Some pools like the Y might have fins available, or if you do swim lessons, they might have fins available. If you like those fins, find out the brand, go on Amazon and go find some fins like that, and that will help force your kick. And that will help force your legs into a good kick. For sizing, you want them to be tight, but not like strangling your feet. If they're loose, they can't really do their job. So they should be pretty snug, pretty tight. It usually comes out to about a size smaller than your shoe size, roughly. So if that feels like it's strangling your foot, then try a size bigger. And the ones that have open toes, you should see your toes. If your toes are hiding under the open gap, these ones are not like that, but like, let's pretend. If your toes are like way inside, then you might need some smaller ones, unless your feet are some kind of big and short kind of foot. I don't know, everybody's different. Anyways, rules for use. This is important. This is going to make sure that they actually work for you and fix once you want them to fix. Keep the fins under the water. Should I add periods in there? Let me say it again. Keep the fins under the water. They work under the water. That's how they're designed. When they break the water and they come up here and get all floppy and everything, they're not working the way that they're designed. So it's not going to help you. Keep them under the water. It should only break the water just a smidgen, just the top part, but your foot shouldn't come all the way out the water. Don't break the surface too much. You got to straighten out your legs too. Pay attention to how your legs feel, or have someone watch you to tell you if your legs are straight or if you're bending them a lot. So then you can feel it, hear from somebody else, feel it again, and then you'll be able to sense what's good and what's not good. You're going to want to move the legs up and down, not back and forth. If I move over here again, you're going to use a big part of your legs to move you. Don't mess with your knees that much. The movement of the fins is going to force your knees to do what they need to do. But keep those legs mostly straight, but not stiff. Relax. And move them up and down. Don't go this way so that it's like bent like that, and then the feet are just moving like that and that and that. No. Up and down. Pretty straight, up and down. The fins will help your legs do what they're supposed to do. So if you're really struggling with your kick and you've taken lessons and it's still not quite doing it and it's a hot mess, get some fins, borrow some fins, something with fins, and that will help you to feel what's working and what's not working. This video is almost done, I promise. Sorry for the rambling. I also want to throw out there that not only does the kicking and the legs affect the body position, but the arms also affect the body position. For the 30th time, the goal is to be stretched out on the water so you can float. Stretch the body. Arms that way, legs that way. For your arms, you want to try to reach them out in front as far as you can. Just out. Get them in front. Don't worry about getting them up and out of the water, because a lot of times that results with the arm just kind of chilling up there for a little while. And then if your arm's up too high, then your body sinks, and then it's not working. Don't worry about getting the arms up and around. That'll come later when you get stronger. Just get the arms out in front. If necessary, that might just be literally reaching out this way, pulling, and then reaching out again, if that makes sense. And it's all staying kind of on the water level rather than the arms coming up and around. The idea is to reach and pull. You want to reach way out and pull the water as far as you can. If you're not strong enough to pull the water all the way back here, that's why these guys' arms are back here, is because they literally started here and pulled all the way down. If you can't make it down and push the water away, like with a little flick in your hand, don't worry about it. If that's all you can do, that's a start. But when you can, the whole way, it's easier, you'll be stronger. The idea here is to make swimming easier for you and more efficient. Doing all the things that don't work makes it so much harder. So do the things I'm telling you to make swimming easier for you, and it should feel easier. Finally, I've come to the end of this video. I'm sorry it's been so long, but I just wanted to get all the information out there as best as I could. If you have any questions, please put them below in the comments, and I'll work on answering them the best that I can. If I think that a video will make it better, I'll get working on that. If you have any videos of people not swimming well, you want to send them to me, that would be awesome, because then I can use those as like a show and tell of what works and what doesn't work. So think about it. Anyways, in conclusion, this is all the things. Swimming, I hope that I've convinced you, but I believe that swimming is all about body position and breathing. Like, that's the core of it. If you can get a good body position and you can breathe in the water, that should put you pretty far ahead in being able to swim more of the things and swim better. Stretch that body out on the surface, whether you're on your front or you're on your back. Just stretch everything out. For the love of God, breathe. Please breathe. Breathing is good. Do not hold your breath. If you have one of those mask things that covers like the eyeballs and the nose that's usually used with a snorkel, no, just no. It doesn't help you swim right. It doesn't help you breathe right in the water. It kind of pushes you to holding your breath more. No, I dislike masks. Don't do it. Just no. And on a side note, snorkels, because masks usually come with snorkels, they are hard to use correctly. Very difficult. Like, I struggle with using snorkels. Be very, very, very careful. Better yet, don't use snorkels unless you know what you're doing. Because if you mess that up, you mess the clearing of the snorkel out, getting the water out, you inhale water. Do you see how that might end badly? No snorkels. Please, don't do it. Another safety thing, remember, please, 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 please be careful. Practice under the supervision of a lifeguard. Know that practice is necessary to get better. You gotta practice. If you have swim lessons once a week and you come late to swim lessons and that's all you get, it's going to take you a very long time to learn to swim. You need to practice however you can, wherever you can. It's getting warmer, summer's coming, take advantage of that. There are lakes and stuff. There you go. Also remember, swimming is hard and it takes time to learn. These aren't natural movements for the body and it's going to take time. Be patient with yourself. Don't get frustrated. Ask questions. Ask people that know how to swim. Just do what you can to figure it out. Listen to your body. Feel what works and what doesn't work. Watch this video again. That'd be awesome. Ask me questions. I'll answer them. But most of all, do not give up. Doesn't matter who you are, you can learn to swim. I taught a little girl with cerebral palsy, and she could put her face in, and she could move a decent distance in the water. And one side of her body didn't work so well. So it's possible. I've seen people in wheelchairs do laps in the pool. It's possible. You can learn to swim. Be patient, ask questions, ask for help, take your time, and practice. But most of all, be careful. Sorry for all the rambling. Thank you for watching Swim Lessons with Deb. This is only part 1, breathing and body position. There will be more videos. Haven't figured out what exactly I want to do them on. So here's another thing that you can comment below. What kind of swimming type lessons would you like me to work on? Like other strokes, more front stroke, rotary breathing. That's that breathe into the side with good timing thing. Swimming on the back, breaststroke, backstroke, butterfly maybe, diving. What do you want? Tell me below in the comments. If you really like this, share it with others and like it, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your questions, your comments, and your support. Good day.